Coming up on this edition of Celtics Weekly, the Knicks are coming to town and we preview round 2. We look at Jayson Tatum's incredible production post-injury, and we go courtside with the voice of the Celtics, Sean Grande. All that and more now.
Crazy.
Welcome into Celtics Weekly. We continue in our playoffs era, and the Celtics survive and advance a very physical series against the Orlando Magic. Credit to the Orlando Magic, but also we have to give credit to Jrue Holiday because we're starting yet another episode of Celtics Weekly
award
where we're giving out awards. Well, the NBA is Jrue Holiday for the second time wins the Joe Dumars Sportsmanship Award. Obviously, extremely worthy of that honor.
Yes, sportsmanship, teammate of the year. Like, this guy could win either of those awards every single year, and I'm glad that he got one of them this year.
If you're just tuning in for the first time, Meghan, Ottolini, and Marc, and if you want to be part of the show, be sure to like and subscribe to the Celtics YouTube channel and comment below because you're a huge part of the show here weekly as well. But we have to look ahead because the Knicks and Pistons just wrapped up another very physical and exciting series in round 1. Let's get into our series preview of what we're expecting from the Celtics against the Knicks. This is a team that the Celtics firmly beat all 4 times. Now, one of those did go to overtime, but 4 times that they saw them, they had pretty commanding presence over the Knicks in the regular season.
Yeah, but I would say that, and you could see Jalen Brunson sealing the series last night with this huge shot. I mean, he almost dropped Asar Thompson onto the ground. What a move and shot. This is what the Celtics are going to be dealing with throughout the series, but I am one of the person who doesn't exactly prescribe to the fact that, the Celtics won all these games by this many points. You go back and look at them, all of these games except for the first one on opening night were all 3 points or less with 6 minutes or less left in the third quarter. So they were close during the second half. And then the Celtics just pulled away, except for that final game that required overtime. But these games were closer than I think a lot of people remember. And I think that the series is going to be much more competitive than a lot of people think. So that's the first thing that I would say is that, don't think that because of the scores of the regular season, that doesn't mean Boston's just going to run away with the series. New York is really good. That team was built to compete with the Celtics in terms of getting OG Anunoby, in terms of getting Mikal Bridges. This team was built to compete with Boston. I
got to say, one thing that I'm really looking forward to in this matchup between New York and Boston is just an explosion of offensive basketball. I loved the physicality of the series that Boston just went through, but I am missing some of these 125-point games on both sides.
Yeah.
I want to see a little bit of a shootout between these two teams, and it's very interesting, Marc, that you bring up those final 6 minutes of the game because when you look at New York's success, and we just saw the highlight from Jalen Brunson from that game last night. I mean, he's Mr. Clutch.
He is. He won the award this year, right? The most clutch player in the NBA. So the Celtics are going to have to deal with that. But talking about the scoring that you just brought up, the Celtics, their true shooting percentage against New York this season was 64.4%. That was their highest against any team in the league that they played more than 2 times. So Boston's, while New York's defense was kind of built with the players in terms of having big, long defenders with Anunoby and with Mikal Bridges, the Celtics still found a way to score kind of at will. And you see some of the highlights from the regular season here. What a huge shot by Jayson Tatum to send it to overtime. But yeah, Boston, 64.4% true shooting percentage against New York this regular season. That is pretty impressive.
Love that. Also, we're going to see a lot more of the three-point shooting that we're used to, hopefully, from this team. They averaged 48 attempts during those 4 games in the regular season. Of course, that would be a big jump from the just over 31 attempts that we saw against Orlando because of their perimeter defense. But you've heard enough from us. Let's hear from Derrick White because he spoke earlier today about some of the challenges that he's anticipating going up against Jalen Brunson and the rest of these Knicks.
I mean, that's when the money's made right there. A lot of difficult reads, difficult decisions. But then just trying to maintain the discipline to not foul or to box out. Those little things like that are the difference between getting a stop or them getting a big bucket. And so that, and then offensively, just being disciplined in your spacing, just being in that right spot, and then when it's your opportunity, just step up and make a play. So A lot goes into it, but you really got to focus on those little details, even in those big moments.
Meg, I had to ask Derrick about playing in the clutch because the Knicks, they won most of their games in the first round by making clutch plays. Cat made big shots. Jalen Brunson made the big shot. I think a lot of people out there think that this series is just going to be a blowout because the Celtics swept. Many of those games were big wins, big margins of victory, but I have a feeling that a lot of these games are going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, we heard from Joe Mazzulla today as well, and he talked about how all of these series, when you're in the playoffs, it's a clean slate from the regular season, and every series really does take on its very own characteristics, as we just saw with round one. That doesn't mean that we can't look back at what we saw in the regular season and glean some experiences, especially when it comes to defending the clutch player of the year in Jalen Brunson. So why don't you show us a little bit of what you dug up from this year?
Let's do it. Yeah, listen, before we start out with looking at the clips, the first thing I got to say is Jalen Brunson, in my mind, is the closest thing to Isaiah Thomas, primetime Isaiah Thomas in Boston since Isaiah Thomas, and meaning that he is smart, he knows how to draw fouls, he knows how to keep opponents on their heels, despite the fact that he's not this big, long, athletic, quick guy. So this first play is all about discipline, right? The Celtics have to know that they're playing with discipline against him. Don't get handsy. And we can watch here what Jrue Holiday does against him, and we can slow it down here. But you can see he's trailing from behind. He knows if we stop it right here, Jalen Brunson is taking that shot because he feels Jrue Holiday behind him, and he thinks that if he pulls up, he's going to create contact onto his back with Jrue Holiday bumping into him. Jrue has the discipline to keep enough distance between the two players for him to not commit that foul. And as you see here in a moment, Jalen misses the shot. He kind of contorts his body to act like he got fouled, but Jrue Holiday is smart enough, again, to know he's going to try to do that, and the Celtics have to avoid allowing him to do that. So we can go into the second play here. This one is against Kristaps Porzingis, who gets switched onto him. So you'll be able to see what a big man does against him. And when I talk about discipline, that means don't play with your hands. If we could freeze it, don't play with your hands. Don't close in too quickly to him. And you can see what Porzingis does on this play. Hands straight up in the air. You think he wasn't taught that before the game by his coaches? Put your hands straight up. That's exactly what he does here. He does not make contact. He contests the shot, and he forces a miss. So again, discipline and hands up. You don't want to reach in on Jalen Brunson, because if you do, he will draw the foul. Last one here that we can go into, another play with Jrue Holiday, very similar to the first one. Jalen takes the ball off the dribble. Pause it here. You can see Jrue Holiday is going to keep a little bit of space between him and Jalen Brunson. Again, Jalen's trying to create contact, potentially go up for a shot, get an and one. Jrue Holiday does not allow it. And by the way, this is important too. Luke Cornett is pulling over for a little bit of help there. So these two combine, they don't make too much contact, and that leads to Jalen Brunson saying, I gotta pass the ball, and instead of passing it to his teammates, he passes it to the Knicks. So it's all about discipline and knowing that you can't get too close to him. You can't get too close within his space, or else he's so smart and crafty, like Isaiah Thomas was here, he's going to draw the foul.
Marc, that was such an excellent job illustrating that. I know people have their own personal opinions about Jalen Brunson and how he finds those opportunities to get to the line, but the truth is it just does become a strategy game.
Totally.
He is an incredibly smart player, so you need guys who are smart on defense. Sick of hearing about how defense in the NBA is all about effort. When you see guys like Jrue Holiday and the adjustments that the coaching staff is giving to a big man out on the perimeter like Kristaps Porzingis, you got to give those guys credit.
And it's all about the details. Joe Mazzulla talked about that today. It's all about the details. We got to control what we can control. That's what they did in the last round against Orlando. That's what the Celtics must do in this round if they want to advance.
Ooh, but Marc, seeing these clips giving me a hankering for some top plays. As Marc and I move back across the set, we are not ready to move on from Orlando. Let's look at our plays of the week from all 5 games in this series, starting with number 10. You get Jaylen Brown picking off Franz Wagner, taking it coast to coast here and finishing with beautifully down there.
There is nothing you can love more than the superstars on your team not only setting the tone on offense, but making plays like this. Jaylen Brown jumps the passing lane, picks it off, takes it the length of the court for the slam. You love to see it.
Number 9, Payton Pritchard. We talk so much about his three-point shooting, but look at him here with the classic step-through finish.
This was my favorite play from the entire first round. Just like Cole Anthony taking you to school, trying to teach you a lesson.
Number 8, we got another JB highlight here. Just finishing, sacrificing his body, okay, with this acrobatic finish.
And taking off from 2 feet, you'll love to see that. He usually finishes it when he takes off from 2 feet. Not many players in the league can do it like him.
Let's go on to number 7. Are you ready for a Sam Hauser defensive play? Here he comes up with the block from behind. Al Horford becomes the connector here, and he finds fast PP in the corner.
Anytime a play starts with Sam Hauser blocking a shot, you know it's going to wind up on the plays of the week. Sam Hauser, one of the most underrated defenders in the NBA.
Absolutely. He's improved so much, and Payton Pritchard as well, but you see him on the offensive end there.
He's not going to miss that one. 16-point game after that
Number
shot.
6, you want more Jalen Brown? Here he is trying to create some space against the big guy, Paolo, and he gets a beautiful rainbow shot right there.
Rainbow shot is right. I thought that thing was going to touch the upper deck up in the balcony section. But yeah, anytime Jalen Brown gets into the mid-range, he just feels so comfortable, and you can see it right there, drained it over Paolo.
Number 5, Al Horford had an incredible series, and here he is with the swat. Just no, absolutely not. Get that out of here.
I laughed when I watched this live because I was like, he could have just caught this. Like, why did he swat it out of bounds?
He's angry. He's an angry man there. Number 4 is another Jalen Brown steal here off Orlando, taking it back for a dunk this time.
Yes, this was a big dunk. Game 2 at home, and you know you're sending the TD Garden fans into a frenzy after stealing it and taking it to
Mike Vrabel there, head coach of the Patriots.
Yeah, you know he loves defense, right? Showing it off.
Number 3, you get Al Horford kicking it for an alley-oop to Kristaps Porzingis.
Big to big passing for an alley-oop. You don't get to see this very often, so you got to love it when Al Horford sets up Kristaps Porzingis.
Okay, something else we don't see that often. Jrue Holiday dunk. Number 2, here he goes in for it. You only see this twice a year this year.
We have literally barely seen it since he came to Boston, but this one, not only did he dunk it, but he hung on the rim. You can see the bench reacting after that play. That is the type of play that sets up a win for Boston. What a great play from Jrue Holiday.
All right, our top play of the week comes from superstar Jayson Tatum, just taking it in for a beautiful slam to end the first half
Yep,
here.
that was the moment when you started to feel like, okay, things are looking in Boston's favor. A terrible first half, and they're only down 2.
Here come the Celtics. That's what that's all about. All right, guys, we are going to be moving on from the Orlando series, but not quite yet. Let's just hear a few takeaways about what the guys thought of that very physical first round.
You know, you just got to adjust. It's hard to win in the playoffs. It's hard to put a team away. You know, the end goal is the end goal, but you know, you got to enjoy these moments, right? Winning a playoff game is hard. Winning a playoff series is tough. You know, we took care of business.
Sir. That's the first test, right? We passed the first test. Make sure we know all the lessons there. Great job. The biggest thing is it's gonna go how it's gonna go, man. Like we can't have an expectation that it's supposed to go a certain way. First half, I don't know if we tried to hit home runs or the case may be. Second half, we just played like we just played. And that's how we have to do. We have to have that freedom, right? There's no expectations of how it goes. We stick to the details. We stick to being a tougher team. We needed this team to bring the toughness and physicality out of us for the next series. You got it. 1, 2, 3. You got it.
We love those inside access shots from the locker room, and we love when it starts with Jayson Tatum walking down the hallway like it's Aaron Sorkin directing the West Wing. Don't go anywhere, guys, because right after this very quick break, we are going to be talking to announcer Sean Grande about the upcoming series.
Boston, it's time. Tonight, we fight. With action. With purpose. With heart.
Back in the city with it. Jitty done been all across the globe. They say Jitty scribbler, he's silly with it when he's spitting out. He don't sell his soul. He should be good, man, he sounding cold. He from the hood. He was just jizzing right by the stove. Then they saw the patrol. It was time to roll.
Our mindset keeps us sharp. Humility keeps us grounded. Embrace the environment. Bring the physicality. One play after another. We compete. We won't back down. We don't break. We fight. We fight. We fight.
The playoffs
where legends are born. Greatness
is earned.
Champions are made. Any more questions?
Welcome back. Our courtside guest this week is the voice of the Boston Celtics. That, of course, is radio play-by-play announcer Sean Grande. Grande, if I can call you that, thanks so much for joining us today. I got this first question I got to ask you because we saw these 3 games from Jayson Tatum to come out of that wrist injury where he averaged 36 points per game. Sean, do you feel like that's flying under the radar a little bit, or it's not getting exactly the appreciation that maybe it should?
I think it's pretty clear at this point, again, after all these years, that Jayson Tatum is going to be one of the guys that doesn't really get fully appreciated until his career is over. I don't think it's going to happen in real time. I don't even know anymore what it looks like in real time between the talk shows and whatever. Like, what does it really mean? And I think we're at the point, what does it matter anymore? When Jayson Tatum has led the Celtics to a championship, he was probably the best player in the entire NBA in the first round of playoffs, if not for the guy who's coming to play against him and Jalen Brunson in the first round. So at what point do Celtic fans say, you know what? I don't care if Topeka, Kansas appreciates Jayson Tatum for being one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world. I'm a Celtic fan, and he plays on our team, so who cares what anybody else thinks?
Sean, we've seen a lot of people out there think that this is going to be a blowout series just because of what happened during the regular season. What's your take on this? Like, how much can or should we take from those 4 regular season games in anticipation of this series opening up Monday?
A lot of us who were involved who felt cheated out of this last year when the Knicks lost the 7th game to Indiana. We'd all been counting down to finally having a Boston-New York series that matters for the first time since 1984. These teams haven't been good at the same time. It's amazing. The Celtics were great in the 80s. The Knicks were great in the 90s. Celtics, it hasn't happened. But now that it's finally here, the reality is it's been a difficult matchup, and the Knicks need a lot of things to happen.
I'm curious for you, as you talk about your craft and preparing to call this series, how different is it, Sean, when you're looking at a series where we're expecting games that go well into the 100s from both teams compared to the Orlando series that you just came out of that was very physical, that was lower scoring games, and maybe a little bit more attention on fouls and calls like that? How is it different when you're expecting maybe a little bit more offensive firepower?
That was a very flowery way to describe 5 rock fights, which is what we just saw, because that was ugly. There was not a lot of ways to spin that into anything pretty. And obviously this is completely different. I think if everything goes the way Celtics fans want it to go, think it's going to go, expect it to go, and there's a really good team from Oklahoma City waiting at the end of the rainbow in the finals, we're going to be talking a lot about the Orlando series and the way the Magic defended them. The Knicks don't have that same personnel, and the Knicks have had the great year they've had because 9 times out of 10, they've been able to outgun the teams offensively that they've been playing because they are elite. This is an elite team in the league. The problem is the Knicks exist in a universe where Boston, Cleveland, and OKC are far and away the 3 best teams in the league. It's a bad year to be the 4th or 5th best team in the NBA because of the disparity between those two. I think Celtic fans don't want to hear this, but the Knicks could just win a game in Boston. One of those first 2 in New York. If that happens, then you're going to see this go to a frenzy level from national interest, from New York interest. And let's face it, guys, this is going to be a 2-week ESPN Stephen A-a-thon, and I am here for every second of it because it's going to be awesome. It's the spectacle that we deserve. And I think Celtic fans want to advance as quickly as they can to the conference finals, and I get that. But from a basketball standpoint, if this could be, there's the opportunity for this little spark to become a flame, it will not take much.
And Grande, we should expect there'll be a lot of conversation around Jayson Tatum. And as you told us, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We know how good he is.
Yes, for sure. One last
one.
Listen,
the Talking Heads, Marc, the Talking Heads guys, they've already started calling Jalen Brunson the best Knick ever. I mean, this is the kind of, if you can't dive into it, if you sit here scolding people for getting too excited and saying crazy, stupid things on TV, that's what TV's for now, saying stupid, crazy things that are going to pump up the series. So enjoy these moments.
Boston, New York, you cannot go wrong with that. I'm looking forward to this series. Can't wait to hear the call, Sean. We appreciate you coming on.
You got it, guys. Anytime.
Let's head back over to the big board for tailor-made stats with Taylor Snow. of Celtics.com. And Taylor, it's your birthday, which is a huge deal, and we're excited to have this segment with you.
Happy birthday.
But what happened with this forehead injury?
Yeah, well, Kristaps had the unicorn horn injury last week, and then with me, there were so many great stats this week that my brain started bursting out my skull, kind of like his down there, so I had to bandage it up.
That's
It's terrible. It's terrible. Come on. Taylor Porzingis.
Right.
Let's get rolling with the stats.
That's horrifying. You should get that looked at.
I will, after the segment. All right, so you guys mentioned at the top of the show how Jrue Holiday won the Sportsmanship Award, so I tried to do some digging on a good sport stat, and found out that he hasn't committed a tech since January 3rd, 2022. So that was when he was with the Bucks. I looked it up, and his quote from that game, he apologized profusely, saying it was very much out of character for him to do that. So he's kind of like a Mike Conley type of player, hardly ever commits techs.
He doesn't argue. He just looks like this all the time, right?
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit of this if he makes a big three.
Speaking of Mike Conley, he and Jrue are the only two players to win multiple Teammate of the Year awards and multiple Sportsmanship awards. Jrue has won 3 Teammate of the Year awards and 2 Sportsmanship awards. 3 + 2 = 1. Really great guy.
Impressive.
Yeah, that's tough math. That's tough math to do on the fly. What else have we got?
And Jayson Tatum is on a historic free throw stretch. Last 3 games, he became the first player in NBA history to attempt at least 10 free throws and not miss a single one. 37 straight free throws. Crazy thing is, he went 0 for 4 from the line in game 1. Hurt his wrist, comes back, hasn't missed since.
Think of all of the superstars who have attempted 10+ free throws in 3 straight games ever in the history of the league. He's the only guy to do this. It's truly an incredible number.
He's got ice in the veins. Reminds me a little bit of Bob Cousy at the free
Love
throw
it.
line and
Love
Blue
it.
Chips. Okay. What else have we got, Taylor?
And this is a regular season stat, but it does tie into this series. I'll mention why in a moment. Derrick White, as we all know, he had a great clutch shooting season. Posted the 3rd best clutch 3-point percentage in NBA history. And this could come into play this series. Jalen Brunson made the most clutch field goals this season. Karl-Anthony Towns was on this list a few years ago. So a lot of clutch players in this series, and Derrick is certainly one of them.
Steve Nash is the only one who didn't play for the Celtics or the Knicks on this list.
That's true.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
And D. White was the only one in all capital letters. So love that. All right, Taylor, we know that you have to go get some serious medical attention.
Yes.
Happy birthday again. Thank you for joining us.
Do you want to show the pic of you standing next to
I was
Kristaps
hoping to.
Porzingis? Yeah, let's do it. Can we fire that up? Oh, there it is. Get in here. Let's get close.
look
Yes.
at that.
Screenshot that, folks. Send it into Taylor
This is
online.
Just like that movie Twins.
Oh, it's beautiful.
All right, Taylor, thanks so much. Don't go anywhere because we have more basketball stats for you. We are putting the player spotlight on Jayson Tatum. Guys, I am personally so happy to be throwing the player spotlight on Jayson Tatum because we were all a little nervous when he sat out his first playoff game with the wrist injury, but who he's been since then deserves a lot of attention.
Yeah, all the praise in the world. This guy has been playing like the biggest superstar in the NBA, like MVP, bona fide level basketball over the last few games. You'll see a bunch of the highlights here, but look at all of this information here of what he accomplished during the first round, and he missed a game. So yeah, I think that wrist is feeling just fine. I think that the Celtics are enjoying what he's bringing to the table. And the biggest question that comes to my mind is this the year that we see Jayson Tatum just have like a bonanza during the postseason? Is this going to be the year where he just goes nuclear throughout an entire playoff run? He's only averaged 30 or more points per game in a playoff run once. That season ended in 5 games in the postseason. So we've never seen him do it for a long period of time. I'm wondering if this is the one.
Absolutely, and if you think about the stats that he ripped off in these last 3 games against Orlando, 36 points per game average and 10 rebounds. Remember, again, that these were not high-scoring games.
Yeah.
And we're used to Tatum being somebody who is such a facilitator on this team because there are so many different weapons around when they spread the 5 out. So for him to be able to put up stats like that against Orlando, think about what he's going to be able to do in this next series against the Knicks. In Game 5, he shot 62% overall and 80% from 3. I mean, how are you not excited about seeing this version of Jayson Tatum in round 2?
How can you not expect that to continue in round 2? He averaged 34, 7, and 7 during the regular season against New York. So, like, everything is pointing toward him having not only a great series, but really having a great playoff run. It's just a matter of how long does that run last for the Boston Celtics. Let's hope at least another couple rounds.
Absolutely. All right, well, don't go anywhere, guys, because we will be with you through this next round, Celtics Weekly. You can find us on this YouTube channel every single week. Till then,
Friday moving forward.
Till then,
all right?
We'll be chilling with our
Yeah,
nutties.
and here's my trophy. See you guys next week. Go Celtics.